Criminal investigations are about to completely change, and it's all because of a new AI platform called Nexus Crime. And I mean, forget everything you think you know about detectives sifting through files, because this is about an AI that's literally designed to think like one. So, what's the biggest problem for law enforcement today? It's not that there aren't enough clues, it's the complete opposite. It's an absolute avalanche of them. I mean, think about it. Every single case creates this mountain of digital noise: case files, social media chatter, financial records, endless email chains. So, how on earth is anyone supposed to find the real signal in all that static? And that right there, that's the breaking point. I mean, if the one clue you need is buried on page 500 of some report, and another piece is hidden in a single email from 6 months ago, how is any human being supposed to connect those two dots? The honest answer? A lot of the time, they just can't. The sheer volume makes it a massive, almost impossible challenge. So, okay, how do you even begin to solve a problem that big? An information overload problem? Well, the answer isn't a better search engine. It's a completely different kind of brain. Nexus Crime is built on a concept called the Generative Semantic Workspace, or GSW for short. And let me tell you, this isn't about finding keywords. This is about building an actual artificial mind specifically for criminal analysis. Okay, so what in the world is a GSW? Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine you're in a library. You could use the computer to find a specific book, or you could talk to a librarian who has read every single book in that library. See the difference? The catalog is passive. It only gives you what you ask for. But the librarian? They're active. They get the connections between the books. They can give you insights you didn't even know to look for. And that is the huge leap we're talking about here, from passive search to active cognition. And honestly, the ambition here is just staggering. We're not just talking about making a faster computer program here. The whole point of the GSW architecture is to digitally copy the way the human brain thinks, that cognitive loop. It's meant to simulate a neocortex for processing and a hippocampus for memory. It's all about creating an AI that doesn't just calculate, but actually learns and remembers. All right, so if this thing is really like a brain, how does it actually think? Let's take a look under the hood, into its mind, and break down the three-step process it uses to figure things out. And you know what? The process is actually pretty straightforward and, well, elegant. First, you have the operator. That's the eyes. It reads everything. Then the reconciler connects all the dots, basically forming a memory. And finally, you have the Bayesian network, which reasons about that memory to figure out the most likely scenarios. Let's dive into each one. So step one is the operator module. You can think of this as the system's eyes and ears. It uses these incredibly powerful AI models like GPT-4 to just devour all that unstructured, messy text that humans create. Scanned police reports, witness statements, news articles, you name it. And as it's reading, it instantly flags the key players, the people, the places, and the events that actually matter. All right, next up, we have the reconciler. This is the system's memory. And this is where the real magic happens, where all those connections get made. It's smart enough to merge info from all these different places, figuring out that, hey, the John Doe in this police report is the same guy as the J. Doe mentioned in this email, and then it links them all together into this huge interconnected web of knowledge, a knowledge graph. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the Bayesian network. This is the system's analytical mind. The best way to picture it is like a seasoned detective's gut instinct. Only it's powered by pure mathematics and probability. So let's say you find a suspect's fingerprint at a crime scene. Boom! The probability of them being involved goes up. Then you find out they have a weak alibi. It goes up even more. This network is constantly recalculating all these probabilities in real time. It lets an analyst play out all these different what-if scenarios based on the actual weight of the evidence. This is a massive, massive leap forward. Okay, so that's how it works. But the real question is, so what? Why does this actually matter? Why is this such a huge advantage over the tools that investigators are using right now? Well, the change is absolutely fundamental. Think about the old way. You've got people doing manual data entry, you've got databases that don't talk to each other, and you're stuck with simple keyword searches. It's literally like looking for a needle in a haystack by picking up one piece of hay at a time. This new way, the Nexus Crime way, automates the whole process. It actually understands the meaning behind the data, and it connects everything in one unified space. It's not just a better tool, it's a completely different way of thinking about an investigation. And when you stack it up against some of the big established players out there, like Palantir or IBM's i2, the difference is just, well, it's stark. Just look at this analysis. Nexus Crime is the only platform that has that core GSW architecture and the Bayesian reasoning we just talked about. I mean, those are its superpowers. It also gets top marks for its AI and this is a big one, for its price performance. Yeah, let's talk about that price performance for a second. We're talking about a subscription model that's reportedly more than 70% cheaper than a major competitor like Palantir. That's not just a small discount, that is a game-changing difference. It could finally make this kind of high-level technology accessible to smaller agencies that can never afford it before. So if we boil it all down, what's the unique edge here? What makes Nexus Crime so different? Well, first, it understands context, not just keywords. Second, it automatically pieces together identities from all over the place. Third, it is the only platform that can run those probabilistic what-if scenarios. And maybe the most important part, it wraps all of that incredible power into a package that's actually affordable, opening the door for so many agencies that were completely priced out of this market. Now, obviously, a technology this ambitious doesn't just appear out of nowhere. So what's the plan? What's the roadmap look like? And what does the future of detective work even look like if a tool like this becomes the new normal? Well, the rollout is planned in some pretty clear stages. So 2025 is all about refining the product, getting it compliant, and then testing it out with some early pilot customers. Then 2026 is the year they plan to scale up, adding things like mobile support and more advanced analytics. And then looking beyond that to 2027 and onward, the idea is to expand the platform beyond just law enforcement and into other complex fields, like finance or even cybersecurity. And all of this, it brings us to the biggest question of all, really. See, a technology like this isn't just about closing cases faster. When you have an AI that can actually reason about crime, it fundamentally changes our relationship with evidence, with probability, and, maybe even with justice itself. So the question I'll leave you with is this. As we enter this new era of investigation, what new rules are we going to need?